Welcome to episode 18, Aliko Dangote, the 10 lessons. This is an outline of episode 18. Lesson 1, work 18 hours a day.
That's really why we are successful.
Mm-hmm. So you talked about hard work. Some rumors out there that you work very long hours during the day, in excess of 12 hours a day. So how do you balance both your professional life and your personal life?
To start with, I don't really work 12 hours a day. I think I work at least 18 hours a day.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, on weekends, I don't work at all.
Okay.
Lesson 2, business is about making an impact for humanity.
It's understood worldwide that in terms of the continent, you are the benchmark of entrepreneurship. But what drives you in business? Is the goal to be the richest man in the world at some point?
No, it's not the goal to be the richest man. I'm not in competition with anybody. That's
right.
Number one. So number two, I think it is mainly to see how impactful we are going to be to humanity.
Right.
I think, you would like to be remembered for things that you have actually done, and that's why we are also very active in terms of philanthropy,
Lesson 3, think big or stay small.
To be an entrepreneur and also to be a visionary person, you have to actually be very, very bold. You have to be ready to take calculated risk, not just any risk. You have to take a calculated risk. And you have to think big. If you think small, you always remain small in life. So these are the 3 things which you have to do, and you must be consistent.
Lesson 4, avoid oil, avoid corruption.
That's right. And you've raised one issue saying, yes, we are now building the biggest, refinery. If you look at it right from the beginning, our group made an effort to make sure that we stay out of oil business. People will tend it to be a corrupt area. So we decided totally to remain out of oil. And even now that we are getting out into oil, we are getting into the downstream, mainly downstream and then upstream. We have already established a name. And, because if we had followed that trend of dealing in oil, would have actually tainted our name, that name, because yes, the household name, because people will always think that, look, you have made this much money because you did a lot of unethical deals in oil industry, because you know the story of the oil industry. So we actually kept out of oil at all and just concentrated on food items.
Lesson 5, treat business as a focused hobby.
What you need to do is to be very, very focused as a person and be dedicated to whatever that you are doing. It is not really good for you to now go and try something, then after a month you just say, no, it doesn't work. You jump into something else. I think you need to be very, very focused in what you are doing. Once you believe in what you are doing, you see, you should not take your either business or job as something that you must do. Okay, you must take it as it's part of your hobby. If it's part of your hobby, then you do it better.
Lesson 6, business is about overcoming challenges.
You try a business and you start, you might have hiccups here and there, but it does not mean that that business is not going to work. There must be challenges. In fact, what I keep saying is that life without challenges is very, very boring. So if you have challenges, you just have to know how to work out or how to work around these challenges, and you will be successful once you are consistent. What business doesn't like is for you to try something and then once you have 1 or 2 problems, now you want to change and move into another business. That doesn't work in business at all.
Lesson 7, make Nigeria self-sufficient and proud.
A lot of refined gas, and it has to import most of the motor fuel and fossil fuel.
Yeah, more than 90%.
Of course, and a lot of people feel that Africa could grow a lot faster with more of its own refinery capacity. So how tough is it going to be for you? I mean, it must be very challenging because you're going to be competing against the European, the Chinese, and the American companies who are all elbowing each other to satisfy Africa's energy needs.
What we're going to do now, really, we're going to do 500,000 barrels. It was 400,000, but we upped it now to 500,000 barrels of oil refining per day, then petrochemical. Know that yes, it's very, very challenging, but that's what we like. You know, in Dangote Group, we like challenging things, and we like to make sure that we do things where we'll make our country proud and also self-sufficient. So once we do this, Nigeria will never ever import any oil at all, no petroleum products, zero. You know, a land that will allow us to grow 3 times. You know, so we have plans of also further growth. But the challenges, I think, will be able to surmount. We're a local domesticated refinery. So most of the logistics cost will not be there. And then we don't have to pile up a lot of petroleum products, you know, in stock, because the refinery is there, it's working. Obviously, yes, maybe we'll have about 15, 20 days of reserves, but that's it.
Lesson 8, Africans must lead.
It's not only about business. But you know, my own thinking is that, or my own belief, really not thinking, my own belief is that we Africans were the only ones that can make Africa great. Because all the time you go to a lot of conferences, you know, opportunities in Africa, Africa is great. But see, unless we lead, nobody will follow us. So we need to lead first. Then we'll have the foreign investors that will follow us, where they will back us up with a lot of money. They have more money than us, but we will not be able to do it, you know, alone. But
Lesson 9, exceed your own expectations.
like what I always say, look, for an entrepreneur, there are no boundaries. Not only are there no boundaries, you can actually excel much more than your own expectation. And that's really what I expect of an entrepreneur to be. Not to just say, okay, fine, I have a vision, and only achieve that your vision. You need to have a vision and a mission so that you can actually actualize it and also excel. I mean,
Lesson 10, diversification across countries.
because there is nothing that is 100% fully safe. You know, when I say fully safe, which means you are not going to have challenges in business. I mean, it's like today we have different types of businesses, and we have we're in so many other different countries. You know, if 5 countries out of 18, for example, maybe they're having challenges, we'll still be able to remain afloat by doing what we're supposed to be, you know, doing, moving on, not being stressed in any way. So the diversification is extremely very good. But
Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments and questions below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.